Hey everybody, sorry about the little delay there. Just wanted to get the house in order. I've got quite a bit lined up today. It seems like week on week it's getting busier and busier, and little segments that we wanna push out are getting bigger and bigger and longer. Thanks for those of you that have joined in early. I've got a list already. I think 16. Everything up until the spiking toros. No, sorry, the pudgy mallards are in the race. DJ, I will ask for another call of teams again towards the end of the stream, and I'll type in again. So you'll have to put everything in from the power moo cows again, because I just want to launch into the stream, and I'll do a bit more typing towards the end. We'll start off with something we should have covered off last week, and the naming of the show. So thanks to those of you that have voted already on Discord. There's been a few different names banded around, but we've landed on the Big Show. There's no surprises there. What I'm still playing around with is exactly how we stick that on the merch, how we put it on as a tagline. Honey Badger pointed out in the Discord that the Big Show doesn't translate overly well when you're doing the search engine optimization. So it's probably going to be something like Big Will's The Big Show or bigwil.eth The Big Show. But we will work the logistics out later on. What we are going to do for the first time though, and it feels a bit surreal, the merch for the giveaway in the duck race at the end of the stream will be not your own merch. It'll be the show's merch. So I don't know if that means things will go down in popularity. We've had lots of suggestions about the duck race. Obviously, there's been a few other groups out there in NFT world trying to copy our great ideas. But we're the OG duck race, and we've got a few ideas with what we're going to do. Make it a bit more fun, make it a bit more interactive, and also there's some duck race specific merch that we're looking at. I actually forgot to say, just check that you guys can hear me. One of you guys drop it in the chat just to make sure you can hear me. So all that's to come, but today's prize, the first prize, will be a cap and a t-shirt for the duck race. Doing something a little bit different this week, so a quick shout out to the guys over at the Beard Bears Discord. A lot of the guys in the teams, we've got a sub channel in there. Obviously this is an NFTeams stream, but those guys have kindly given me the opportunity to give away an OG pass or an OG status in their Discord. There's only 100 of those. I'm going to give that away to the second place team. So whoever comes second doesn't get the merch, but you'll be given an opportunity to sign up to the Beard Bears Discord and their group and that project. If you don't know what it's about, we've got a sub channel under NFT strategy in the Discord, but you'll get a free OG status in that project. Okay, so actually forgot to say, Borid was the member of the group that suggested the Big Show. I think it stuck with me since it was mentioned. Thanks also to Banksy and Mahoney, who have also put in a couple of other good suggestions, and everyone who put in what they thought might be good. There were some pretty good suggestions. There were some that you would never pick in a million years. So I think we've had a bit of fun with that. But the Big Show, we'll get some branding done, and that's the way it'll go from now. Okay, let's get into it. I want to start off with a review of the floor. We'll go back to a few stats in a second, but this is usually where we start. I'll just, before I go on, in terms of how you get into the duck race, I'm going to take some more names at the end. We had 16 people get in before the stream started. I'm going to do a little bit of a window before the stream starts, up to an hour, where you can type your name in just to make it easier for me to collect the names. We'll make it a bit more sophisticated with Google Docs down the track, and I can just copy and paste it, but we'll have a look at that later. So at the end of the stream, I'll ask for another roll call for your team that isn't in. You'll be able to see the list of entrants, and just stay on the stream. You have to be on the stream to collect your prize. If your duck crosses the line in first place and you're not on the stream, unfortunately you miss out, and we'll just cascade the prizes down. The prizes are being donated by NFTeams as well, so shout out to them. Shout out to to Alan and the team there that are helping out with a few of the gifts. They've obviously been very generous with sponsoring the quizzes and that kind of thing. So the t-shirt and the cap's being donated by them. And I've personally will catch up with Borrad, and I said I would commit to one of the NFTeams caps so that I'll send out directly to Borrad from myself. So thanks for being the winner of that naming competition. Okay, the floor. The floor is interesting. It's just crept up. There's been a couple of we'll get into it when we look at the stats. There's been a couple of sales pop off in the last couple of minutes, but also there's been 4 or 5 listings. So at the minute we're at 12% or 1,202 total listed for sale. As I say, we'll cover off that in a minute, but I think I'd be surprised if this is left at the end of the stream. I was disappointed when it got listed. I nearly bought it, but I'm trying to be disciplined, as a few you know. The first down Martians, so I want to give it a bit of airtime. If you want to get something sold on the cheap before this stream on a Sunday or a Saturday, stick your team up on the floor and we'll try and get it flogged. So 0.0777, which is obviously under mint. We have been pretty much, apart from a couple of hours every now and again when people have listed them for stupid low prices, we've been above mint all week. We obviously went above mint in the last live stream last week. So these guys, the aliens, have never really been the floor character, to be honest. They've generally sat around 8th, 9th, 10th towards the floor, but we've got back-to-back aliens at the floor. But I think the first down Martians, it's relatively clean. I know that not everybody's cup of tea, the aliens. They're definitely the Steel City boys don't have a lot of time for the aliens. Shout out to the Steel City boys, by the way. I think they've got a pod coming out probably today or tomorrow, so watch out for that one. So I think this is something we can get sold in the next half an hour or so. Unfortunately, stats aren't the best for those of you that are in it. I've got a sneaky bit in there of 0.065, which hasn't been taken. It was only bought for 0.065 over a month ago, so someone's held onto it for that amount of time and probably just wants to recover their price. So if you're looking for a floor team, I think that's more than reasonable, more than respectable, and it's certainly a reasonable amount lower than the next floor team, which is the Chilean aliens. Again, I don't know how that stuck around. 0.084 for an alien with a crown looks pretty cool with the glasses. I think it's a brilliant buy. And I don't expect those two aliens. I didn't expect them to stick around too long. I thought there was a bit of a market for aliens, but yeah, brightness is on there. Seeing gas is pretty low at the moment. I saw it go down to about 60, 63, 64 not so long ago, 65 just there in the last few minutes. So you can see gas is around about 70 at the minute. It's a pretty good time to be buying if you want to pick up a few on the floor. I'll just keep on trying to go backward and forward with the questions. Let's have a look. There was a couple of other ones that I picked out in terms of floor teams. If people are looking, we've had quite a number of new people join the chat and join the Discord over the last week. It feels as if there's been more over the last couple of weeks, but the number of new team owners continues to trend up. There's been a bit of a slowdown, and we'll get to that in a second. Again, I think those two aliens on the floor are probably as good as any. I'm definitely warming to the baggy greens, and I think there'll be a run on those over the next couple of months whilst we're all sat watching the Ashes. I think anything under 0.1 at the moment is going to be good value. I do like the Istanbul blinkers. I think there's a bit going on there with the beer hat and the Hawthorn singlet. So I think at 0.089 that's pretty good value. But I think most of those under 0.1 would represent a pretty good snipe at the moment. We're about 12 away from getting up to 0.09, and at the moment overall it's 33 more teams. Or just before the stream, it was 33 more teams before we got to 0.1. So there's still a little way to go, to be honest, to get through that 0.1 barrier. But it's been pretty good over the last week. We've seen plenty of sales for sure. Just wanted to go over some stats. I like just to have a quick look. over the stats. I think actually before we do that, we'll actually have a quick look at the recently listed. We normally have a quick go of the recently listed to see if there's anything on there which is worth picking up now. The random leopards, I think, has just gone up 0.099. Again, not a fan of the masks, to be honest, so I can't push you into that one. Two of the apes with the Bitcoin crown, there's been obviously a run on those. We'll touch on that a little bit later. For me, the one that I saw that I liked straight away, there's a couple of the bulls or the cows which look really cool in the suits. 0.18 is probably just a little bit too pricey for me at the moment, and I'm trying to be super disciplined, but I think that makes a pretty nice team. It was picked up on a wrapped ETH bid a month ago for 0.14, and now at 0.18, so it would only be a small profit. But I think of the recently listed over the course of the day, it's been a slow day, but I think that's probably the one I'd put you into, to be honest. Yeah, I think you're right, Brightness. There's some people that don't mind the masks, but I think there's a couple of them. I think what we've talked about this, I think stream 1 or stream 2, the artistry here, there's plenty of other projects where the art here is way better, but I'm just a massive fan of the characters and the character art, and I think there are some traits. If you look at the hopping chimps here, and you look at the yawning chimps, there's pretty good facial art there with the yawning chimps, and I just think some of the masks take away from the characters for me. So I haven't been a massive fan, but I know there's some people that like the wrestling masks and some of the other the face covering traits. We'll jump over to the stats. This is a graph that I keep on putting into the Discord. So just looking over the last 2 weeks, we had 2,120 a couple of weeks ago when we did the stream. There's been steady growth, which is nice. 2,142 last week when we did the stream, and it's gone up over the last couple of days. Or the last day, it's gone up by a few more to 2,153. So we are slowing down a little bit. There's only been 11 new wallets come into the project over the last week, around about 1.5 a day, so that's a bit of a slowdown from the previous week when we were averaging 3 a day. You can see the gradient there is a bit steeper in that first week, but nevertheless it is going up and it's still trending up, which is the main thing for sure. A couple of questions I got asked in the Discord, or just a few people shouting out. If you go onto the Etherscan page for the project, you can actually look at the number of holders, or at least which wallets are holding the most. I think we'll look at this every now and again. There's probably not going to be a great deal of change, and you obviously can't see Discord names in here. I think we all know who has quantity 80, and then there's a couple of other people above 50. Not many. The top 5 are probably 50 or above, and then it trickles away bit by bit. Top 10 is 35, top 20 is 30. A lot of people in the top 50 have, that 20 or just over 20 teams, and I think those were a lot of the OGs that went and minted their full 20, and then have added and been tempted to pick off another 1 or 2. So we do have a lot of people. There's been a bit of talk about the distribution of teams throughout people's wallets, but I don't think this is completely unusual. Our project sort of leans itself to people having more than one. They want to have a bit more skin in the game, but I don't believe it's lopsided. I think it's 2,150 individual wallets with a lot of people sharing teams and the likes of that. I think that's we're in a good spot, and that continues to climb. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, we'll move on. We're going to look at some of the sales. We'll cover these off pretty quickly, and Simon, just in the chat, you have a question. How do they work out the market cap for NFTeams? Love that site, my analytics, but what's the market cap? Good question. Not 100% sure. I can click on this. It's probably something we can try and look offline. I'm not sure what their graph means, so I'll come back to you on that one, mate. But I've looked at that and I haven't paid much attention to it, so apologies for that. I will give it a bit of a look and come back to you on that. And somebody in the Discord or the chat's probably going to be able to give you a quicker answer. Team, some of the sales for this week. I think it has been a bit of a slow week. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and I think Steve, I mean, we give him a bit of stick, but he's a clever guy. He's timed the Bitcoin and the ETH crown announcement pretty well, in my opinion. So the sales had started to slow down a little bit, and then in the middle of the week we had that big announcement, and then they popped off again. This week's been the week where we've had the lowest highest sale. So the mock and pandas here went for 0.5 ETH. Mitchell Fowler picked it up a couple of days ago. That was the highest sale of the week. Most other weeks, I think every other week prior since Mint had at least one sale of over 1 ETH. So some of the higher items haven't sold, and I think that's a combination of just people have set their teams in for the tournament and what they want. There's been a lot of new projects being minted, and I think there's been less of those sales at a higher level that have been probably classed as bargains. So the Mock and Pandas at 0.5, team of the highest sale price this week. Obviously, the pandas themselves we've had a bit of a run on those over the last week. I think a lot of people, if they were voting maybe for their top 3, 4, 5 characters, I think the pandas are starting to get a lot of love. I think the first couple of weeks, the apes, the hydras, the Zeus were taking everyone's thoughts and opinions up, but the pandas are smokies coming up in the back there that they're actually starting to command some decent value there, the pandas. So combined with obviously the Bitcoin crown, which I think the floor for that is it's 0.25, in between 0.25 and 0.3. I think that's a pretty cool looking panda. So that was the highest sale this week. Bargain of the week. Now this is an interesting one. There's been a couple of bargains this week, and I don't want to harp on too much about the robot I picked up. There was definitely 2 that I like the look at. The UK leprechauns went, I think it was yesterday, for 0.08, and for a leprechaun to go off the floor was just crazy, really. I know that a lot of people are fans of the leprechauns, and I think there's been normally the leprechauns go for a lot higher than that. There's only 281 leprechauns. They're up there in the top 10 most rare characters. So to see that at 0.08 was definitely interesting. But the one that I've given bargain of the week to this week is the quick walkers. Surprise, surprise! Just as Albatross snapped this up, Justice with his 80 teams in his wallet now couldn't resist. We've seen a few sales for the NFT cap. Steve confirmed this week in the Discord that the black NFTeams cap is probably almost ready and will be shipped soon. The green one is a little way off, and we're still waiting for an artist, a sort of reasonably good artist to drop in, and Steve's having conversations on those. So I'd imagine that the black caps would probably be given out a little bit sooner than the green caps. And I've noticed myself that the green caps are starting to edge away and command a little bit more in terms of the dollar value that they're commanding. But nevertheless, this was a 0.5 sale. It was on the floor for a couple of minutes. Well, a little bit longer actually. I stuck a bit in, but I think Justice must have woke up and saw it straight away. 0.15 for the NFTeams cap. The way I look at the bargains, it's very subjective, as you know. I think it usually is how much you undercut the floor for me. So at the moment, the floor on the black caps is 0.27. To pick up one for 0.15, you've almost getting a 50% discount there. So I think with the Steph Curry mask, and obviously we're making zombies great again, this has got to be up there. Yeah, Banksy. So the robot sniping, we got lucky on that. I've had a few people reach out to me. Gas has just dipped again to 62 for anyone who's interested. But the robot sniping was just absolute just luck and me being in the right place at the right time. I had a bit of time off this last couple of days, so I've been able to get into this stuff a bit more, and I managed to pick up I can't find it at the moment. I managed to pick up. Here we go. The Medellin Simians, which is obviously a decent buy for the 0.15. So happy with that. The robots were going to be the talk of the town for this live stream, but we've kicked that back a little bit. Sorry, Justice. I know you're itching to get a bit of airtime for the robots, but we'll come back to those. We'll come back to those another time. What I wanted to, just before we wrap up on the sales, I just wanted to touch on the Rarity Sniper website. I know everyone's not a fan of the Rarity Sniper website. We know, or you all know, that you can go on to nfteams.club/teams, and you can pick and select and work out your combinations of how many of each character's got what certain traits. But Rarity Sniper as a website now, I think, is a lot better than the Discord. So if you click on Rarity Sniper, NFTeams is what they've put our name in. I've mentioned it to Steve because they've obviously got the name in wrong and it takes a bit of finding. But I just wanted to give you this as an example. You can come in, you can add your team or your team ID in, and it gives you a pretty good overview of what your team is. Obviously, we can forget about the scores. We know there's a little bit of an issue there, but it gives you all of the rarity stats on what your actual team is. So for example, there's 227 Steph Curry mouth guards, which makes it a 2% trait. There's only 104 black NFTeams hats, which makes it a 1% trait, 104 of those. So I just wanted to push you into the NFTeams site on Rarity Sniper, because it's just a lot easier to use, and I don't know if everyone knows that they've actually moved on to their website. Just have a quick look over at the questions. Bootman, I think once all the info about traits and bonuses is out, it will help the sales. You're holding on to a couple of teams in case a trait means a perk. Yeah, there's a couple of us been talking about selling of teams. I've got a handful. Well, I've got quite a few teams now. Some of them I'm in shares with friends, as I keep on saying. But we've actually, I've not listed any of my teams yet. Nothing I've bought have I relisted, and nothing I've minted I've relisted. I've kept hold of them for that exact reason. I don't want to let go of something. I'm pretty connected to my team, so I'm wanting to hold on to them to see how the whole thing plays out. And to be honest, as you would know, I'm pretty bullish on the project, and I actually think even the teams I've got which don't have the greatest traits, don't have the greatest stats, I like the look of pretty much all of them. There's not many bad looking teams, and I'm pretty certain that longer term we'll end up with, from an investment, from a financial point of view, even a team that I would sell from the floor now is going to be worth a lot more in the future. Yeah, Ed Ross just mentioning that you've got some good teams there with lower rarity. I know the Shields obviously command a lot of the rarity points, but I think each to their own. The rarity stuff is probably something I thought we would have talked a lot more about over the month or two before the tournaments, but it hasn't been that way, with Rarity Sniper not being spot on. Okay, before we get to the one more segment before we get to the duck race, and I just want to have a quick look, sort of trait and character of the week. If anyone's got any questions as well, just keep on throwing them in the chat. Just have a swig of water. I'll call it water. So a little bit of a pivot this week for trait or team of the week, character of the week. We're going to go with ducks. It's been on my list to give it a bit of a preview with, and obviously as we go full steam ahead into the duck race, which I'm absolutely certain we should make into an NFT project, but we'll worry about that another time. I just wanted to cover off the ducks in general. I think, to be honest, I see a lot of ducks on the profile pictures. It's definitely one of the ones that I think people aesthetically are definitely liking to get on their profiles and are sort of feeling a bit more connection to them. There's obviously plenty of them as well. There's 640 ducks in the collection. They're the 7th most common, so obviously they're not rare, but I think that means a lot of people can get hold of them, and a lot of people are a lot of people are sort of gravitating towards them as their profile picture. I know I've got mine as my profile picture on most of my social media now, and I've got some pretty good teams which have got good rarity, but I sort of just like the look of that one. I think with the right background. So I just wanted to go over the ducks just for 5 minutes and give them a bit of a plug. There's a few that I've highlighted out, and then we'll have a look at the floor for the ducks and see what's value. So probably if I asked you all before the in the Discord before this we got on the stream, what was the highest price for a duck? I don't think anybody would have picked out the top mallards or remembered it. I definitely forgot about them. But in hindsight, the golden duck obviously was going to command a bit of attention, and obviously going into the Ashes now, it's probably worth even a bit more. But a golden duck with a yellow headband, the golden medal. I think that's a bronze background, but it looks pretty gold. Yeah, the bronze Apollo. It's just very, very aesthetically pleasing. And this actually went for 2 ETH, right at the someone put it up not long after mint, and it was snapped up for 2 ETH. And I think at the time, none of us really knew how much these were all going to be, not knowing how much the actual high value items were going to go for. And I think I was a bit surprised, but I was also thinking, oh well, the golds are definitely going to go for a lot. I've got a gold team, pretty good looking one, and I thought golden duck, yeah, 2 ETH, that sounds about right. Since then, there's been a couple of golden ducks that have sold that don't look as good as this for sort of 1 or less ETH, I think it was. But the other thing, just while we're on it, actually, I've just noticed it. There's whenever you look at one of the gold teams, it doesn't come up with any of the traits, and I don't think it means anything, but it's probably something we should ask Steve one day. But the gold teams, if you look here, there's 4 little flicks of gold, the little shiny bits of the gold. And each gold team has a different number of those little shiny spikes on it. And I think the lowest is 3, and I've seen teams with 5 or 6. And it's interesting that even that level of detail, whether it's intentional or not, I would assume it is, but that level of detail on the teams and the art just goes to show how much work has been put in by the team before all these were revealed. So the ducks, by that 2 ETH seal, that's probably in the top 10 or 15 seals we've had in the probably in the top 15 that we've had in the whole project. So the ducks are up there in terms of the seal. What I did want to have a quick look at, and if we scoop over to the NFTeams page, I always like to know how many characters of each one, and Justice could probably tell us this off the top of his head. He's probably got a few of these that are robots, and there's 11 robot ducks. I've done this bit of homework prior to switching from the robots, but for this week's stream and the character or the trait. But interestingly enough, when I was looking at this earlier, I came across this guy here, the racing ducks. So if we just go back one, what you've got here is pretty interesting. It's not up for sale, and I wouldn't be able to price it, to be honest. And we've got a that's actually my computer slowing down, not the stream, so I'll not load it up and knock the stream off. But you can see it pretty clearly there. You've got a gold duck with the robot, and I don't think there's many of those. I haven't run the numbers on gold and robots. We could probably quickly have a quick go at doing it, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. Color gold robots filter 2. So not many of them. So I think those 2, again, I mean, the hype blinkers, we've all seen that one. I'm pretty sure we're doing the rounds. That's an unbelievable team. If that's not in the Discord, in the show your team off section for the promo that Steve's going to do, it needs to be, because that's unbelievable. And I think that's double animation with the gold flickers. That's a beautiful team there. But the racing ducks, this is not one I've seen, and given that we're doing duck races, I think probably something I'm going to have to try and get a bid in on, to be honest, because it suits exactly for the duck race. It's got that mask on. If it didn't have that mask on, it would be absolutely perfect, but maybe that it needs its mask on for the duck races. But I just wanted to have a quick point out to that, because that's pretty rare, and it's not owned by Justice. So Justice, if you're on, maybe a few bids can go in. I think it's been Oh no, here we go. 14 days ago, Justice did bid on it, 0.4. So it's definitely on his radar, and it's been on a few other people's radar as well. But I haven't seen it, so I thought that was worth pointing out. It's a pretty unique duck, and it just goes to show when you start drilling down into these traits and you find a couple of combos that you like, um, there's definitely a few that are new or that we haven't seen. And I think that the recent competition that Steve's put out to try and get the top 20 favorite looking teams in the Discord have brought out, again, Koo was talking about it in the Discord earlier, it's brought out a whole heap of teams that we haven't seen before. Before I just quickly run over the floor for the ducks, Shintage has come up with many ducks with green caps. So again, the same thing. You can do this. Actually, we'll do it on Rarity Sniper just because it's you can run up traits on Rarity Sniper. I might as well do it in a different way just to let's have a look at the ranking. If you go onto Rarity Sniper and choose, here we go, ducks, there's 640 of those, and then you go to the head trait and go to black NFTeams hat. And did you want green? Green caps, sorry. There's 7 with green caps, 8 with black caps. So sometimes you can get to the information quicker on Rarity Sniper now. I mean, it's just been pointed out in the chat there by Banksy. The Rarity Sniper values on the shields are really high, so it's not the best use of rarity. But if you want to just have a quick look at the teams, either the NFTeams website or the Rarity Sniper website gives you an idea. The benefit to the Rarity Sniper website, it's a little bit delayed, it's not live, but it gives you the ones that are on sale. So you can actually see it. I really want a duck and I really wanted to have a green NFT hat. Then you have a look at this and you go, right, the floor for that is 0.5, and you can click through to this and have a look and go and have you can link through to it on OpenSea. So those are the 7 teams there. Again, that combination's another example. There's only seven ducks with the green NFTeams hat in the whole of the project. That's pretty rare if that's what you're into, and there's some pretty cool looking ones there as well. Just got a couple of other questions in there. Man, you sound like Sammy Burgess. Nice brightness. I'm going to take that as a compliment. DJ, I love going through the show on your team's channel. So many cracking teams. Yeah, if you're not, I'm sure everybody on here is across where that is in the Discord. But if you go down to show your team, there's hundreds of these things in here now, and like the favorite ones. You can like more than one. Don't be stingy with your likes. Every single team I've gone through and given at least one like. Get in there, put your likes next to the ones you want. I think there's probably anything with maybe 10 likes at the moment in the running. You probably might need 15 likes or so to get in at the end. Just want to quickly touch on one other. I want to give a shout out. I'm going to do this once a week. If anyone's got a team they want me to preview, I'll give a shout out to. We're only doing it once a week, but Mariah, I've been talking to you about your New Zealand Quackers for a little while. I think it's a pretty good looking team. Gold teeth. I do like the captain's armband. I'm warming to that. I'm looking for combinations of sporting clothes and the captain's armband. So I do like the basketball jersey and the captain's armband there. Not for sale at the moment. What's the levels like on this one? Pretty good levels as well. There's probably 260, 265 level points in, about 260 level points there. So big shout out to Maria for representing these ducks. That was one that you've put forward for the duck race. So I thought I'd just give you a quick shout out there. And before we get on to that, reviewing the duck floor, I think for me, a duck with a baggy green is going to go well over the next couple of weeks. So I think you could go worse than looking at the ambitious Quackers for 0.115. I think there was another one somewhere that I saw actually. If we go to low to high and sort, the floor's 0.1. They're pretty affordable because there's just so many of them. I think the Punching Ducks looks pretty good with his crown, but the ambitious Quackers there, 0.115 is probably the pick of the bunch for me. But there's not a I don't think there's many bad looking ducks, to be honest. I think they just look pretty cool. So if you haven't got one, if you haven't got a duck, pick one up. Now, while we've been on, I don't know, no one's picked up the First Down Martians or the Chilean Aliens. I'm surprised at that. I was hoping the First Down Martians would go while we were on the stream, but let's have a look. What about sponsor backgrounds, Edrov? Sponsor backgrounds, you can't actually search for sponsor backgrounds on the NFTeams website. I don't know if it's just an oversight, but the backgrounds you can't actually search. Again, Rarity Sniper, not my favorite thing in the world, but you can actually search the backgrounds on Rarity Sniper. So if we go to up here, we've got background, and look at the sponsors, there's 131 of them. So there's some pretty good looking ones. I know we've been trying to play detective with the sponsor backgrounds. I've got some skin in the game because I've got a couple of these, but Steve said there was no more surprises coming with regards to the teams, and I think what he was referring to there was the Bitcoin crowns, the ETH crowns, the caps. But then someone pointed out to Steve that the backgrounds aren't part of the team, so whether or not that's going to come to light. I know Steve's doing a lot of work trying to recruit more sponsors, and he's spending a lot of time in meetings, trying to get more sponsors in. I'm hoping that it's something that is related to the sponsors once the tournaments get up and running, but I think that'll just be down to Steve whether or not he onboards enough sponsors to make it part of the gameplay and make it work. So again, not financial advice. If you haven't got one, I think they just look cool, they stand out. So I wanted one anyway, irrespective of that extra utility, but I'm definitely still interested in having them. I'm not going to sell them, but slightly disappointed that we haven't had a utility update on the sponsor backgrounds. Okay, that wraps up. Just a couple of shout outs I want to give before we go into the duck race. Koo was just put out again. The press conference, if you NFTeams Sports Radio, NFTsportsradio.com, if you are not already on there most days. Podcasts are amazing, and the wrap up of the week, I use that most weeks before I do my pod just as reference to pick up all the good stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff going on. Please go and have a look at the website, and also the Steel City Boys. I've already given them a shout out. They can have 2 shout outs this week. They've done terrific work over the last week and put another pod together. So Monday, Tuesday, your commutes to work, you can listen to the Steel City guys. Okay, so we're up to the Pudgy Mallards. Now I can try and go back through and just quickly just pick out the teams that haven't already got in, or you can post them again. If you post them again, I'll put them in, but we got up to the Pudgy Mallards. I'll give it a couple of minutes, and if you haven't got your team in, just give us the name now, and I'll stick them in while I'm answering some of the questions. Yeah, DJ, surely there'll be a sponsor background bonus if you win a tournament or something. I thought there would be. That's what I'd been holding out for, but unfortunately at the moment, probably not. It may change, so we'll see. Anyone else? Here we go. The Wuhan Kings. Let's have a look. And you'll have to try and keep me right if I haven't got your team in. I do apologise. I don't want this to take up loads of time, and I will knock it over for next week so it's a bit more streamlined. Just going to do a quick back through. So anyone who got in before the stream up to the Pudgy Mallards definitely got in, and then I'm just going to go through and add in a few of the extra ones that you're putting in there. Please don't put more than one in. I can't police that very well, but you put in more than one, disqualification. And there's a couple of prizes up for grabs. Okay, nearly there. Steal and drop bears. Can't remember how many we had last week. I think we had over 30 last week. Which makes it. I've actually taken my team out because I didn't. I was terrified I was going to win last week. It looked at one stage that I might win, and I don't want that embarrassment, to be honest. So I've taken my team out, and that gives whoever was in first, the Laughing Aliens, the prime spot right in the number one spot. If we got any other ones that I might have missed, I think we've got everything in there. The Invading Norms. Don't know if that was in there to begin with. Okay. 30. Any more for any more? I can't check Discord at the moment, guys. Sorry about that. I can only take them if you're in the chat because it's just going to take too long. Right, I think we'll run with this. So just to recap, if you come first, you get a cap and a t-shirt, which is going to be branded with the Big Will, the Big Show merch logo and name. And then if you come second, we're going to give away the OG or the Yogi status in the Beard Bears group. They've been kicking around and picked up a few teams, so I'd give them a quick shout out. Okay, 31 teams. I think we're done. Apologies if I've missed anyone. We will make it a little bit better next time. We're going to go for 90 seconds, which is reasonably long, but we'll get it going. And good luck to everyone. I'm sure another duck will win the race. Okay, Jesus, this is a lot. Right, we're off. Power Moo Cows, quick out the gates. The Laughing Aliens trap one always seems to go pretty well. The leading Spaceman's had a bit of a bolt there, but falling back. The Loving Beefs out in front, number 15, and the Valued Ducklings, the Donald Trump duck, just out there coming up at the front. So jostling for position midway through. Got a few of the Valued Ducks hanging out at the back with the Invading Gnomes, and really just jostling for position. Each team, the Quality Ducks there, team number 3 on the inside, having a bit of a look up front. We've got the Living Koalas that's out wide, 27 deep with no cover at all, and the slashing Crocodiles at 26 just out there at the front as well. The Spiking Taurus now taking the lead. We're halfway through, 40 seconds to go. The Perth Mancows with its nose in front, and the leading Spaceman coming from nowhere. We often see something come from right at the back, circle the field, and take the race. The pace has been hot. The Invading Gnomes now taking over, and the Invading Gnomes at the top fighting it off. The Pudgy Mallards, team number 17, got its beak in front just there over the Power Moo Cows. There's 15 seconds. This is where we're coming into the home straight. What's going to make a dash from the back? It's had cover. We can see something coming here. The Darton Mallards are in front. The Wuhan Kings. What's this? This is the New Zealand Quackers. The New Zealand Quackers. Never in a million years is that going to win. The New Zealand Quackers. Oh, I think Maroya's just went and took it out. The New Zealand Quackers. We previewed the New Zealand Quackers. It absolutely isn't rigged. I'm absolutely sorry. I will have to go back and have a quick look at what came second when we reviewed the stream, because my eyes were on the New Zealand Quackers. But that's interesting, isn't it? Make ducks great again. Yeah, that's the New Zealand Quackers. That's 3 for 3 for the ducks in the duck race. I think everyone should go out and buy. You've seen what the best ducks are on the market this stream. I think everyone needs to go out and buy a duck if you want to win this race, because it's just becoming a bit silly. The Man Bulls were second. All right, well, we'll take that on notice, James, that the Man Bulls were second. We can't race again. I'll speak to Maroya. I think, to be honest, he's one of the hardest working blokes in this whole project, so he might deserve a bit of a pat on the back and some merch. So he can be the proud owner of the first Big Will, the Big Show merch. And we're also going to be getting some little prizes so we can continue the duck race going longer term, and there'll be duck-based prizes that we're just getting sorted out with the team, and I'll update you on that before next week. Yeah, I think Melanie, I don't know if that's yeah, you said your team nearly drowned. There's a few of them that nearly drowned. The ones that start early and get that early pace, take the lead, they often flit away. Look, again, I've kept you a bit longer this week. It seems to be getting longer and longer, and that's probably because we've got more and more to talk about. But not too far away as we run into Christmas. The next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be pretty interesting for the project. I think we'll see a bit of a slowdown in terms of the sales. That's what we're seeing as people have sort of set their wallets and set their teams that they've got. There'll always be sales going through, and we've obviously got that big announcement probably in a week or two that Steve's promised us, and it'll be really interesting to see what comes of that and how that spikes things and creates a bit of activity. But at the end of the day, we are in a super good position as a project. Everything's looking really well. We're on board and celebrities almost every week. I think as more of the sports in Australia start to get back up and running, we've got the cricket on tonight. Next year, the A-League started. I think there'll be more and more exposure for our project, and Steve's going to onboard some new people in the new year. I think the future is bright. So keep an eye on things. We'll do the stream again next week. We will jump in midweek if there's something pops up that I want to talk about and do a bit of a snappier version of it. But thanks for logging in. I don't know how many people we had on the stream, but it went down pretty well. Appreciate your support. If you can, subscribe to the channel. We've already got 65 subscribers, but there's a big red subscribe button down there. Give this video a like. That always helps. And I'll see you all back in the Discord. Thanks for your time.